What's up, guys?
It's your girl Misha.
It's your boy Nard.
With the Eminem family. So today we're doing a reaction to how the reproductive system failed in school by Thomas Sowell.
She got a goofball today, man.
I couldn't get the whole title in my brain. It was just like reproductive. Okay, boom, school failed.
All right. I'm curious to watch this video, man. All these Thomas Sowell videos, man. Guys.
It's a Sowell.
Sowell.
Thomas Sowell.
Thomas Sowell.
Sowell.
Okay. What up? Anyways, guys, look. It's no hard feelings towards nobody. It's no, I like my culture better than I like white culture.
You're talking about reproductive.
I know that, but I'm just saying.
Oh,
the
you're
comments
to
that
I
get from the Thomas
It's
Sowell.
all him. It is
so
all him.
It's just one of those things. It's all opinionated. If y'all say y'all opinion all the time in the comments, I don't trip. It's y'all opinion. Y'all entitled to it. You know. So that's it, man. But anyways, guys, I'm clear. I really want to see what this video here is about.
He's just trying to clear the air that there is no problem with white people, but we're talking about reproduction today, honey.
Right. So okay, but that's why I'm just cleaning up the air with the folks. You feel me? The good folks out there. But guys, also I do want to say, man,
he's sorry.
Whatever, but there's no hard feelings towards no one, man. Seriously, it's all love, man. And hey guys, it's just my opinion. That's it. That's all I can do, man. You know what I'm saying? We it's just opinionated. That's it. We're entitled to that. That's our rights. Hey, whatever. So, anyways,
speech.
Right. But anyways, guys, I'm so clear to so ready. I'm talking about clear. I'm so ready to see.
You already cleared the air.
Right. What's up with this video, man? So you know what I'm saying? I'm learning a lot, man. Looking at this guy. So I want to get straight into it, and you know what I'm saying? Anything, babe?
Yeah, I'm very interested in this because probably it's something it can teach me that we didn't learn in school. I mean,
most definitely.
Let's get into it.
And we have kids, so let's see.
Way past that, we should have been taught. Okay.
Among the many crusades which gathered new steam during the 1960s was the crusade to spread sex education into the public schools and through other channels. Among the first acts of the Office of Economic Opportunity in 1964 was making a grant to a Planned Parenthood unit in Texas. From a total expenditure of less than $500,000 in fiscal year 1965, OEO expanded its financing of sex education more than fivefold by fiscal year 1966. Not only did the federal government begin in the late 1960s to greatly expand its own expenditures on sex education, often known as family planning or by other euphemisms, but it also began to mandate that states promote such programs as well. The number of patients served by family planning clinics increased approximately fivefold between 1968 and 1978. As early as 1968, the National Education Association, in its NEA Journal, was saying that a federally funded project in a Washington school demonstrated the need for sex education as an integral part of school curriculum beginning in the early grades. Some of the pregnant girls counseled reported feeling that if they had studied human sexuality with understanding teachers during elementary school, they would not have become pregnant. Sex education and family planning clinics, so-called despite their being established to prevent having babies, not only grew rapidly, but also changed in the clientele they served. As a study of this era put it, family planning services grew phenomenally from the mid-60s to the mid-70s. In 1964, the federal government made its first family planning grant, which served only married women. By 1970, Congress had passed the first national family planning and population legislation. Federal expenditures grew from $16 million to close to $2 million.
Goodness. Is there some things you wish your school have taught you, before becoming sexually active?
Yeah, but no. You know what I'm saying? If y'all guys not with me on that one, it's like, okay, we did learn about sex in school. We did, you know what I'm saying? But it was so more sort of like you know, protection. If you don't use protection, you could get these all type of transmitted diseases that, you know what I'm saying, can, you know, put a hit on your life, you know what I'm saying? More so HIV. We learned about not the use of drugs, don't use drugs and stuff like that, man. But you know, we never learned about, okay, far as a lot like women, hey, boom, I get pregnant, how to deal with these feelings, how to deal with these emotions, how to deal with, like, if the guy not being as supportive that he should be. And you know what I'm saying, I think that's something that they should teach in school also, you know what I'm saying? So
I mean, yeah, they can teach you that stuff, but everybody's emotion is different. You have postpartum. Um, Not a lot of people get postpartum. Some people do.
yeah.
So you can never have a book on how to, hey, manually, let me see how to support my wife through this. It doesn't, there's no book on that. So,
But at the same time, you can quote, you can, everybody's feelings and emotions not the same, but therefore everybody, you know, it's always good to give somebody, hey, a warning sign, or this is what I went through,
you can only,
or
you
know what I'm saying, or this is
Yeah.
what may happen. Now, in some scenarios, in that it's the same, you know what I'm saying, but not all. So I feel like, you know, that should have been taught to me, like, honestly, like.
I mean, I get what you're saying. As far as being, there's been a relate. Like our teacher can say, "Hey, this, and they're elaborating on some of this stuff." But people at the age of 13, I think that's when you learn it. They don't want to go into much of debt about, hey, this going so much into detail because you are teaching young individuals, and there's only so much you can
Right,
do,
and so and you're exactly right. But sometimes too, I cannot put it on all the schools neither. I can. A lot of stuff starts from home, so you know.
And then another, like my mom. I remember telling her one day that we're gonna be learning about sex education, and she was like, "Oh, really cool. Okay. Wow." She was like, "Well, in my school, they had taught us how to put condoms on, and we used the banana." And I'm like, "Well," she was like, "What'd you learn?" I was like, the reproductive system and how it works. And I didn't learn all that.
Right. So I mean, that's not. Honestly, I just don't feel, because if you don't know how to put a condom on and you trying to do that, you don't even need to be doing that. So that's so not hard. But I do just feel like a lot of that stuff do start from home too. Study your parents showing you how to make it through day-to-day life. I think they really do need to sit down and show you how to deal with heartbreaks and emotions,
book education and
feelings,
street
and just,
education.
like, it's just a lot, man. But schools can pick up that stuff too, man. But that's just my opinion. So
I guess a lot of people feel like that's not their place to go in so much detail about,
man,
reproductive education, health education.
but how you know if you never did it? So
yeah, okay.
$200 million. In 1969, there were less than 250,000 teenagers using family planning clinics. By 1976, this had swollen to 1.2 million. According to the Alan Guttmacher Institute, a leading research and advocacy organization promoting sex education, the federal government's support of family planning services rose from less than $14 million in 1968 to $279 million a decade later, nearly a 20-fold increase. By the early 1980s, nearly 2/3 of the money received by family planning agencies came from the federal government. What was the purpose of all this activity? Sex education is considered one of the primary tools to help adolescents avoid unwanted pregnancy, according to a typical comment of the period. Once more, we have the 4-stage pattern. Stage 1, the crisis. In 1968, it was claimed that Contraception education and counseling is now urgently needed to help prevent pregnancy and illegitimacy in high school girls. The head of Planned Parenthood testified before a congressional subcommittee in 1966 as to the need for sex education to assist our young people in reducing the incidence of out-of-wedlock births and early marriage necessitated by pregnancy. The incidence of venereal disease among young people was cited by the head of the New York City Board of Education as showing the need for a crash educational program. An article in the American School Board Journal in 1969 depicted sex education as a way of combating illegitimacy and venereal disease. PTA Magazine likewise urged sex education to combat the spiraling rate of venereal diseases, the pregnancies before marriage, the emotionally disastrous results of irresponsible sexual behavior. Similar statements abounded from a variety of sources. But what was in fact the situation when this kind of crisis mentality was being used to push for more sex education in the schools? Fertility rates among teenage girls had been declining for more than a decade since 1957. Venereal disease was also declining. The rate of infection for gonorrhea, for example, declined every year from 1950 through 1959, and the rate of syphilis infection was, by 1960, less than half of what it had been in 1950. This was the crisis which federal aid was to solve. Stage 2, the solution. Massive federal aid to sex education programs in the schools and to family planning clinics was advocated to combat teenage pregnancy and venereal disease. After sex education, according to a professor of family life, a boy will find decreased need for casual, irresponsible, and self-centered experimentation with sex. Critics opposed such actions on various grounds, including a belief that sex education would lead to more sexual activity rather than less, and to more teenage pregnancy as well. Such views were dismissed in the media and in politics, as well as by the advocates of sex education. The New York Times editorially rejected emotions and unexamined tradition in this area, and its education editor declared, "To fear that sex education will become synonymous with greater sexual permissiveness is to misunderstand the fundamental purpose of the entire enterprise." As in many other cases, intentions were the touchstone of the vision of the anointed. Stage 3, the results. As early as 1968, nearly half of...
So we don't have the, what was the first one, the crisis, the solution, and then what was the other one, the result?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's like I was saying, that's more so what we learned about in school, probably like the diseases that you can get off of unprotected sex. You know what I'm saying? It was never like, okay, telling you like, okay, well, you know, this happened. Now you got this going on, so now you don't know what to do. So we're trying to help at least give you a rough draft of something. Your situation might not be similar to this, but we can try to help you out, or, you know what I'm saying, meet common grounds about something. So, you know, that's what I feel do need to be taught. As far as like, with this, what I'm looking at now is just, at first I thought it was like, okay, these people, it's family planning thing looking like a money thing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think necessarily it is.
I mean, with all the funding that
right.
was given. It was,
so,
wow.
You know, definitely. So even with when they did start teaching about all type of transmitted diseases out there, it kind of went down. You know what I'm saying? Most of it went down a whole lot. So they was doing their part on that. You know what I'm saying? And still to this day, I think they teach about that in school. I don't know. I've been out of school a long time now. I don't know, guys. I mean, I do feel like as parents in your household too, that you can help them out as well. Teaches them about all type of diseases, how to deal with problems that they have that's just not gonna go away. Some problems you're gonna be stuck with, and you just got to adjust to them and be, you know what I'm saying, the best that you can be to do it, as far as being a mom or as far as being a father. So, you know.
I know for me, I was taught somewhat out. Well, I wouldn't say somewhat, but at home by my grandmother. She noticed that, you know, my older cousins, started to get, well, before we got sexually active, she started teaching us about the different types of diseases, and that scared us straight. That did scare us straight. Where we was like,
Yeah.
I'm good on that. No, boy, you got a disease. I don't want to talk to you.
Right, but that's only gonna work so far. So that's basically telling you, like,
Honestly.
right. So that to me, honestly, that's telling you, okay, that's not telling you not to do it. That's what I'm saying. When you say them things to young adults, hey, this not teenagers. Like, hey, you don't want to do this. Do this. You don't want to do it unprotectedly. Like, if you trying to be kids, don't want to have sex. Hey, no. As a teenager, you living in a household, and you know what I'm saying, you got great parents and stuff like that. It'll go different in my household. Probably, honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, but just you know,
I think it'll
if
go
you
quite well in my house. My dad was very stern on us for a moment until I moved out. So yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just one of them things, man. Like, you gotta. I'm sorry for all the wiggling around, guys, but it's just one of them things. I do feel like, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, you got to be mindful of. It's just not. You know, most people just look at it like, oh, I don't want to have a baby, but like I said, you can have a baby and adjust to that.
Excuse me.
But you know, all these, gonorrhea, herpes, HIV, you know, you gonna have that stuff, man. Like, honestly, man, you don't want to live with that. Like, some of that gonorrhea, that stuff is curable, but it's a wake up call as well. Like,
the people that do have it, my heart reaches out to you, because I do have a close friend, you know, that is going through this. But you know, I feel for them. I still love them. I don't treat them any different. So yeah,
just one of them things. Like, protect yourself. That's it. Period. That's all you gotta do. Protect yourself. You ain't got to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? If you out there doing that. So I mean, that's just my whole thing to you, man, guys. But I'm gonna get back into this video.
All schools in the country, public and private, religious and secular, had sex education, and it was rapidly growing. As sex education programs spread widely through the American educational system during the 1970s, the pregnancy rate among 15 to 19-year-old females rose from approximately 68 per thousand in 1970 to approximately 96 per thousand by 1980. Among unmarried girls in the 15 to 17-year-old bracket, birth rates rose 29% between 1970 and 1984, despite a massive increase in abortions, which more than doubled during the same period. Among girls under 15, the number of abortions surpassed the number of live births by 1974. The reason was not hard to find. According to the Alan Guttmacher Institute, the percentage of unmarried teenage girls who had engaged in sex was higher at every age from 15 through 19 by 1976 than it was just 5 years earlier. The rate of teenage gonorrhea tripled between 1956 and 1975. Sergeant Shriver, former head of the Office of Economic Opportunity, which led the early charge for more sex education and family planning clinics, testified candidly to a congressional committee in 1978, just as venereal disease has skyrocketed 350% in the last 15 years, when we have had more clinics, more pills, and more sex education than ever in history, teenage pregnancy has risen. Such candor was, however, the exception rather than the rule among those who had pushed for sex education and birth control, family planning clinics. Stage 4, the response. Sex education advocates continue to treat as axiomatic the need for more sex education to combat teenage pregnancy and venereal disease. As late as 1980, and in spite of mounting evidence, the Alan Guttmacher Institute proclaimed, "Teenage pregnancy can, through better education and preventive services, be, if not altogether avoided, at least reduced, and through better maternity, abortion, and social services, be reduced in its personal impact on the teenager who does get pregnant." Opposition to sex education continued to be dismissed as a simplistic view in the American Biology Teacher Journal. Congressman James H. Scheuer of New York, found that the alarming statistics on rising teenage pregnancy only highlights the need for strong leadership by the federal government in solving this problem. The very possibility that strong federal leadership might have worsened the situation was not even mentioned. To the Alan Guttmacher Institute as well, an almost quadrupling of venereal disease between 1960 and 1972 only showed that more broadly based national programs channeled through the public school system are needed and are long overdue. Opposition to sex education has been depicted as a threat to a democratic society. When confronted with the evidence that pregnancy and abortions increased during the 1970s, sex education advocates often deny that sex education was widespread during that decade by restricting the term sex education to compulsory sex education, which tended to be mandated later. Although sex education programs have been sold to the public, to Congress, and to education officials as ways of reducing such tangible social ills as teenage pregnancy and venereal disease, many of the leaders of this movement have long had a more expansive agenda. As a congressional committee report noted gingerly, the primary objective of federal efforts in family life and sex education has been to reduce unwanted pregnancy rates among teenagers, while the primary goal of most sex educators appears to be encouragement of healthy attitudes about sex and sexuality.
Wow. He's looking like, I'm stunned at a lot of information that has been given. Like, half of that stuff I did not know.
Right. As a
like
foreign,
them changing the name inside the schools, and it's still yet to be mandated. It's wow.
Right. Like it just goes to show you, like, by watching this video, how, you know what I'm saying, teenage pregnancy has rising. I think a lot of people under the school, starting to get a bit lazy about it, man. I don't know, man, but
I think it's just gotten out of hand, and it's just something that couldn't be controlled by the government at the time. You know, just like he said, he needed better somebody who's a better governor. I think he said.
Yeah, like I think they didn't care about it as so much. You know what I'm saying? But that falls under everything else that was probably going on in the world. So it probably was pushed
diseases,
back,
right?
That was given out. So guys, I mean, like I said, man, that's supposed to show you, man, like, even, you know, at home, you know what I'm saying, it starts from somewhere. It have to start from somewhere, man. So
absolutely,
it's kind of crazy, but, you know, it got to start from somewhere. You know, if the school had backed away from it for a while, you know, y'all, you know, it's kind of got to be on y'all as well. When this should have been on y'all a lot more than the schoolhouse. So, you know. So, get back into this video.
In short, however politically useful public concern about teenage pregnancy and venereal disease might be in obtaining However politically useful public concern about teenage pregnancy and venereal disease might be in obtaining government money and access to a captive audience in the public schools, the real goal was to change students' attitudes, put bluntly, to brainwash them with the vision of the anointed in order to supplant the values they had been taught at home. In the words of an article in the Journal of School Health, sex education presents an exciting opportunity to develop new norms. Only in the light of this agenda does it make sense that so-called sex education should be advocated to take place throughout the school years, from kindergarten to college, when it could not possibly take that much time to teach basic biological or medical information about sex. What takes that long is a constant indoctrination in new attitudes. An example of such indoctrination may be useful. A popular sex instructional program for junior high school students, aged 13 and 14, shows film strips of 4 naked couples, 2 homosexual and 2 heterosexual, performing a variety of sexually explicit acts, and teachers are warned with a cautionary note from the sex educators not to show the material to parents or friends. Many of the materials of this program shown to people outside the context of the program itself can evoke misunderstanding and difficulties. Parents who learned of this program and protested were quickly labeled fundamentalists and right-wing extremists, even though they were in fact affluent.
Yeah, certain cities and states were doing it because we didn't learn that, but
like I said, I learned about the diseases. I didn't never
learned
learn
about where our kidneys was and where every
that part
everything
too.
in our body
So
was, and the different type of diseases, and that was it in school.
yeah, I mean,
that was it.
That's what I can honestly say I learned in school. I didn't learn about. I just learned about intimacy and the diseases that comes with it that you can't get from it. So you know.
And we got pictures of stuff about like how the disease look and how it forms, and
right.
It's just all type of stuff. And that's it. We didn't sit down and watch people. That is no. Mm-mm. And then what? Even if it was a thing, no consent form was given to any.
Right, for your child to even watch that.
Yeah, I don't want my. They could have been just.
All right.
Lord.
Episcopalians in Connecticut. Here is an almost textbook example of the vision of the anointed, preempting the decisions of parents as to when and how their own children shall be introduced to sex, and dismissing out of hand those with different views. Nor was this episode peculiar to this particular school. Similar things have happened all over the country. Parents are denigrated both in discussions of public policy and in the materials given to students in the schools. A typical comment from experts is that sex and sexuality have become far too complex and technical to leave to the typical parent, who is either uninformed or too bashful to share useful sexual information with his child. This utter certainty of being right, even to the point of circumventing parents, is completely consistent with the vision, however inconsistent it is with decades of empirical evidence on the actual consequences of healthy attitudes about sex, as promoted by experts. The key point about the sex education crusade, from the standpoint of understanding the vision of the anointed, is that evidence proved to be as irrelevant here as on other issues.
Wow.
That was amazing. Sorry, my daughter wants to come in the room. I'm watching her put her little fingers under the door. But yeah, that was educational.
Right, that was crazy. Like I said, guys, I'm sorry for all the movement, man. The chair is so uncomfortable. But that's just like I said, man, you know, I don't think I'll get mad. Honestly, I think I'll need a heads up that the school gonna show my kids this. But I don't think I would have been mad. I think it would have been something for them to watch, honestly. And see the outcome of it. You know what I'm saying? Not just for a feeling, not just for, because a lot of those girls in there, you know, they don't like that. They don't probably know, about orgasm and stuff like that. It's just probably the main thing a dude pressure them into doing. So, that's how I look at it, because I'm a guy, you know what I'm saying? I've been that guy. But, before, sorry. But,
looking like, correct yourself, sir.
Right, but I do just feel like, you know what I'm saying, it's something very needed in school. I don't hear about it often no more, so I think it's probably on took a turn, and I think it needs to come back up, and maybe it's still in schools in other states, so you know what I'm saying, but here in Florida, Jacksonville, I don't really hear no school, none of the kids saying they learned about all these type of transmitted diseases and sex and stuff like that, and what can come with it and what kind of issues that come with it. So, that's all, I'm saying. Like, and another thing with me is it starts from home again. So you gotta kind of help these school systems
like
out
right
too,
now, my kids are 1, 3, 6, and 10, and it's a lot of stuff going on in this world that I don't want them to have any knowledge about. For example, 2 male partners. Now, what goes on in your home is what going on in your home. Mm-hmm. This is just my opinion and how I'm raising my children. I like, for example, Little Nas. I'm not a big fan of, my kids watching him. What he do is his business. But far as my kids, like the other day, my son, they had suggested Little Nas and for it to be watched. And I was like, why is that in the suggestions when all they watch is cartoons and stuff on YouTube? But I also have to make sure that YouTube Kids is what they use instead of just regular YouTube. Yeah.
Girl, so, I mean, guys, all we can do is do the best as we can as raising these kids as parents, and that's what we all try to do every day.
And make sure that you're not so, like I said, I got to make sure that I'm not hard on my kids. Now, what everybody else do with their kids, that's what they do with their kids. But I have to make sure I'm not hard on them and that they're comfortable enough to talk to me.
That's fine, but as far as being hard on them, I mean, I ain't finna be no pushover neither. So
I'm not saying be a pushover, but
I'm just saying
my kid needs somebody to talk to after experiencing
cool.
something.
That's cool.
Awful.
That's why you tear their behind up and then come and talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, nah. But
that's his parenting. We have two different. I'm a more caring mom, compassionate, loving.
Yeah, but
he's more military. Never been in the military, but hey.
Whatever. I'm trying to be no military, but you know what I'm saying. Guys, I mean, it's just this video is crazy. You know what I'm saying, and it's kind of showed y'all how they got away from it, and the people didn't want their child to see that and stuff like that, man. But hey, man, it's all part of the school system. Trying to help at least, you know what I'm saying, studying them might have lost and don't know how to deal with a lot of that stuff if they're not getting taught about it at home. And, when it does happen, a lot of people judge their kids and a lot of outside people judge too. So, it's not right. But, guys, but anyways, man, it's been a good video, man.
It was very fundamental.
So,
learning the media came
right, learning a whole lot. So, I'm always for it, learning, you know what I'm saying? Coming in the comment section. Okay? Yeah, coming in the comment section about how you feel. I mean, how y'all feel about it. So, yeah. To the next video.
And stay tuned for more, guys, because we have more coming.
Right.
Okay.
So, until the next video, guys.
Make sure you like. I know we stated in the beginning, but make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Please comment some more videos we could do by Thomas Sowell. I want to keep someone to say Sowell. That is his name. We're going to stick with it. But comment some more videos that you suggest that we should do. I'm trying to stray away from the race thing because it's a little touchy. Also, although it's my opinion, our opinion, it's a lot of comment. I ain't got time for it. But until the next video, guys.
Peace.